Well, I hate the bye week because you just got to sit around and watch a bunch of other teams play football. I can admit that it is incredibly beneficial for your team, for your coaching staff, because it's time for them to make changes. And based on what we've seen over the first 9 games of this season, heading into the last 3, I believe that there are going to be some major changes that come out of this week because you still got some good football left ahead of you. I firmly believe that. You still have 3 games left on this schedule, 2 of them which I'm actually really excited about. You go on the road to play Florida, first time trying to get a win there in the Swamp since 2003, and then you have a really good Vanderbilt team at home to round out this entire season. Look, I hate the narrative that there's nothing left to play for. Frankly, I think that is a loser take. Can you make the college football playoff? No. And that sucks. But that doesn't mean that this season is a wash. It doesn't mean that this season is a waste. And it does not mean that the rest of the games in 2025 mean nothing. I can't wait to see them strap it up against Florida. I can't wait to cheer them on while they're in the Swamp trying to get a first win there. Since 2003, I can't wait to see them put Diego Pavia in the dirt to end this season. There's a lot to look forward to, and I do believe, I'm going to tell you exactly what the changes are. I do believe that there will be some changes made during this bye week. Make sure, if you're not subscribed, to make that change. Hit that sub button, okay? This is our season-long sub battle with the Alabama Football Report, and as they've continued to win, they've also continued to add subs at a pretty high rate. They're leading us, their biggest lead so far this season by, 97 subscribers, almost up 100. We cannot let that happen. If you love the Vols, if you hate the Crimson Tide, and if you want daily videos, all 100% free, click that big red sub button. So I believe the first change that is coming is more Ethan Davis, okay? And I believe that this is a change, frankly, that should come. And one of the biggest things that leads me to believing this is going to happen soon is we already kind of saw it during the Oklahoma game. If you look into the tight end snap count, he outsnapped Miles Kitselman, 48, 47. And then, of course, JVD down there at the bottom with 8. But I think that surprised a lot of people. Ethan Davis, unfortunately, has been hurt for the vast majority of the season. Unfortunately, has been hurt for the vast majority of his career, frankly. But what we've seen of him when he plays, it's been really, really good. And Josh Heupel tends to agree. He said this today in his press conference. I think he's done a good job in the past, been a big part of it. You look at Kentucky and into the first half of the other day, did some really good things as he's gotten back into the physical contact part of it, continuing to progress. And he had his best day against Oklahoma. He was one of the few bright spots on the offensive side of the football, had his career high in receptions, had his career high in receiving yards as well. Like, I thought that he played terrific. Not only did he make a lot of big catches, but he made a lot of really tough catches as well and really good plays with his legs. And it feels like, in my opinion, the healthier he gets, the more rope he's going to get. It's not his fault. He hasn't really been in a lineup so far in 2025. Like we said, he's been dealing with some health things, some injuries. But now that they've got him back and they've got him healthy, he's just going to continue to get more run in this game. I mean, look at the snap difference from one week to the other, from Kentucky to Oklahoma. And I get it, game plans change. You're playing Oklahoma. Their front 4, their front 7 is much better than Kentucky, so you're naturally just going to play a little bit more 12 personnel. So a guy like Ethan Davis is going to get more snaps. But Miles Kitselman stayed about the same. Ethan's over doubled from week to week. And I'll be honest with you. I think we want Miles Kitselman to be better than he actually is. I think we like the way that he leads this team. I think we like the person that he is. But he's not living up to the expectations that we have set for him. That's just the cold, hard truth. And the coaching staff sees that just as much as we do. And so then Ethan Davis gets back healthy. He has 2 games in a row against Kentucky and against Oklahoma where he's playing really good football. I've got a strong feeling he will be highly featured in this offense for the next 3 weeks of this season. So change number 1, Ethan Davis needs to be on the field way more. Whether that is 12 personnel and it's him and Miles Kitselman together, or whether that's just him out there and Miles Kitselman on the bench. Look, I like Miles. I like him as a person. I think he's an unbelievable leader. But if I'm wanting to get the ball to a single tight end and want to make a play happen, I'm getting that ball to Ethan 10 times out of 10. Do you want to see more Ethan Davis? If you do, hit that thumbs up button and like today's video. I've got a feeling that's going to be a pretty big change coming up, but not the only one, because the more Ethan Davis we see, I think we're going to see less Boo Carter. And not that those, anyway, influence each other, but I do think the amount of Boo Carter you've seen so far, you're not going to see anywhere close to that. Because did you know he did not log a single defensive snap against the Oklahoma Sooners? The only time he found himself on the football field was in special teams, when he was the punt returner. And the funny part about that is, had one return, and then had another one where he just almost muffed a punt. So he didn't play on defense, only played on special teams. There was a reason for that. And then he finally gets his opportunity on special teams and almost gives it away to Oklahoma in a pretty massive part of the game. And I kind of feel like Josh Heupel's a little bit frustrated with him for what he did in special teams in his limited amount of attempts. Heupel talked a little bit more today, saying, there's times during the course of this year where we haven't won out on the edges and they forced some fair catches. The other night, though, had a couple of opportunities, didn't take advantage, didn't maximize them. And I could not agree more with Coach Heupel. It feels like right now the Boo Carter experiment has failed. It feels like the Boo Carter risk necessarily isn't worth it. We see the athleticism. We see like the dog mentality. I want this kid to succeed so badly. You can see the ceiling, but obviously there's something going on beyond the scenes. There was something happening this summer. He ended up, working his way back to being a regular addition and a regular player on this defense, and unfortunately has worked his way off that. Now, I don't know if he's dealing with injuries or not, but all I know is you've seen a lot less Boo Carter over the weeks, and I think you're going to continue to see that through the rest of this season. And his mom, let's not all forget, she Facebooked this out a couple of weeks ago. In a few more months, we are going to be unreachable. Of course, talking about her and her son, and that seems pretty inevitable at this point. And you know what? Go ahead. Enter the transfer portal. Do you think Boo will be a Vol in 2026? Give me a yes or give me a no in the comment section down below. What do you think? Let me know your answer. Coming up on today's show, don't go anywhere, okay? We got a couple more changes to get to. We're only halfway through. But speaking of halfway, this thing's almost half off. It was $50. Now it's $30. You go to chatsports.com/UTQZip to get one of your own. That gray color is what they got specifically on sale. And look, I love going to the Vol shop. I love getting Tennessee merch. But when you do get Tennessee stuff at the Vol shop, it's going to cost you an arm, a leg, and maybe a pinky toe as well. This is just $30. Get your Christmas shopping done early. Maybe you got a birthday coming up. You can get that shopping done early as well. Just do yourself a favor and get this for a great deal, $30. Chatsports.com/UTQZip. That's in the comments and description of today's video. So freshman wide receiver time. I feel like that's going to change over the last 3 weeks of this season. Because we know that throughout the course of this year, in the first 9 games, the wide receiver snap count is greatly skewed to Braylon Staley, Mike Matthews, and of course Chris Brazzell as well. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. Obviously, those are the 3 best guys in the room. They're the 3 oldest guys in the room. And the younger guys have suffered with injuries before. But without the college football playoff on the line, I think that's going to change. I do think you're going to see a little bit more of Rodarius Jackson and Travis Smith. I do think you're going to see a little bit more of these freshmen because now you don't have as much to lose by playing them, and that's only going to help them kind of get acquainted to college football. To when next season rolls around, they're not just now kind of getting their first reps and first time in some game action. Josh Heupel spoke a little bit about this in today's press conference, saying guys that have proven they're ready to go play will play at a really high level, championship level. They earn the right to play and compete, and that's ongoing throughout the course of the season. These guys worked really hard. I would love to see more Travis Smith and Ra over the course of the next couple of weeks. I only think it's going to serve those kids better. I only think it's going to serve the future of this team better. And I also think they're really good athletes. Obviously, they're going to be dealing with their own things from an injuries perspective. But if they are able to play, I would expect to see them out there playing a little bit more just because you don't necessarily need all the guys out there like the Chris Brazels, the Mike Matthews, the Braylon Sayers. You don't necessarily need those guys out there because I don't want to dumb this down or I don't want to, make it sound like you don't need to win these last games, but there's less pressure to win these last games. And the final change, the cornerback rotation. Is this something that is going to be affected over the next couple of weeks with the status of Jermod McCoy? Josh Heupel was asked about that today. The last update we got about Jermod McCoy was that he still was planning on coming back the rest of the season. Josh Heupel was asked about it, saying Jermod is continuing to get better in his rehab, doing more on the football side of it. We'll continue to see where he progresses to. I don't think it's fair for me to put a timetable on it. I had a real injury that he's been working hard to come back from. Continues to make progress. Now, if Jermod McCoy comes back, that will be a very big shift. You're going to see a little bit less Ty Redmond out there. Colton Hood is going to go off from, having to cover the team's number one wide receiver, and that's going to be Jermod McCoy's responsibility. However, I'm not going to lie to you. Of the changes we've talked about today, I think that's the one that's least likely to happen. I just don't feel it. I don't see it. If you would have beaten Oklahoma, I would almost guarantee that you would see Jermod McCoy out here by at least the Florida game. Okay? He'd probably take the bye week to keep getting healthy. He'd probably take New Mexico State to keep getting healthy. Maybe you get him a couple snaps against New Mexico State. But the Florida game was the game I was on. Now, you lost to Oklahoma. Like we've already talked about, you're out of playoff contention. I don't see him risking his draft stock, risking millions of dollars to try to rush back from an ACL tear to just play against Florida. What do you think the percent chance is that Jermod McCoy plays again? Scale it for me 1 to 100 in the comment section down below. Obviously 100 meaning you're really, really certain. 1 meaning you're less. Let me know right now. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure you got me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Almost at 1,750 followers. Looking to get to 2,000 before the end of this month. And make sure you're subscribed. YouTube.com/VolsTalk. That's where you'll be every day if you want the most up-to-date coverage of your Tennessee Volunteers.